Oh yeah. Here, keep them in line. ESO. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Dan back for episode 4 of my ESO for fun. Yeah, so as I said, I was gonna make it up to you guys. So one of the Thursdays and this. So just a little heads up, we're gonna probably be moving this segment to Fridays from now on because that's just gonna be an easier day for me to do it. But welcome to the first Friday episode, everyone. Now this is gonna be about 40 minutes long because I have some more to be. But I thought I would do a quick drop in for all y'all. I need to do my levels a little bit. Give me a second. Ooh, I'm in the code. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, so right now I'm back playing as so I'm playing this. Oh yeah, I'm in a delve. So yeah, I'm gonna take a break from running around as a sneaky elf and just go run through a delve because I need that sweet sky shard so I can what's funny is I don't even know what the hell to do with some of my stuff now. It's like I've maxed out my class, I've maxed out my armor, I'm pretty sure I've maxed out my weapons that I'm using currently. It's like, what do I do? I mean, I guess I could do Dark Brotherhood, but like she's not built for that. Like, oh, she's sneaking. She's like, hey, I'm standing here. Look, yeah, I'm standing straight up, and somehow I'm still hidden. Crazy. But oh, now you go down. She's like, look at this. She's just standing there like I'm Superman. I love this personality thing that she's got because it's just like, hey there. Nah. So yeah, this I said it's gonna be the first of our Friday show. So I said I'm gonna be trying to do more. I'm also gonna be possibly starting my Random Media Guys channel. If you don't know, I have a second channel where I talk about movies and books and stuff like that. I was doing it with my partner and buddy Chris. Not partner in that way. You're thinking that no, like partner in crime. No. He's happily married. So now, yeah. As I said, we're gonna be doing this. I will be doing a when we can because we're still working that out. We're gonna be doing bringing back the Random Media podcast where we just kind of shoot the shit talking about movies. If you guys are interested in that, go over to Trevor's channel. I'll put a link in the description so you guys can go check out our channel. I said, like, I've been doing school, I've been doing work, and my ADHD has been, like, you know how you get those, those like, at night, like, hey, I'm gonna go do this in the morning. That's kind of me a lot in life. Like, I really want to do something, but it just is like something gets distracted, or you're just not. It ends up making you like super procrastinating at times. It's something I still struggle with, but I'm working out, feeling better, so I think this is good. It's gonna get better. I'm kind of hope I'm not being optimist to the point of being a I don't want to say unrealist. That's not the term. Being delusional. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, I'm not trying to be like why can't I have a horse? Just because there's sky over me, like what are the horses scared of the roof? Seriously, like you tell me my horse can't fit through that thing. Jesus, it's like you can't fit. I guess kind of here because you'd be hitting the roof, and then like you get TBI. Like does TBI? Here's the question: if you in fantasy worlds, if you get a hand injury, does it affect your ability to use magic? Like because like is it like some sort of like I've always wondered that about magic. Like if you got injured, can you know how when you get if you get in a car accident or you get some sort of brain damage that prevents your ability to walk, does that affect your ability to do magic, or does magic, or is it like a particular part of the brain? Like if you hit, like if you damaged, oh shit. It says above. Hopefully I'm going the right way. Bear. Like imagine if you got like hit and then you and instead of losing your ability to like losing your eyesight, like what's his face, like Pyramidal Jones character, like Mr. Myrtle from that's kind of interesting. I didn't realize that, like, but because I've been stuck doing taking an anatomy class, and like there's a lot of stuff if you get hit in the head that can happen. Not necessarily you can have mental cognitive decline. You can have some pretty nasty stuff happen. Like you can lose vision. You can lose the ability to walk. There's the brain is really like a really important organ. But it's like the thing about that, like in fantasy, like would that extend to that? Like, if you get hit in the head, could you actually still cast spells? And that brings the whole thing. Everyone gets bonked. Maybe that's what happens, dude. That's what happens to the guards. They got bonked head on as a kid, and they got a concussion, and they can't do magic. That's why too many heroes knocking people in the back of the head are like, dude, like, and what kind of sucks is there's no workman's comp back then. You can't you can't go to your lord and say, hey, I got hit in the head. I can't cast spells. I need to go on disability. Not like medieval disability. Well, I guess the Romans had something like that. They had like the brain dull. That's always the biggest crock of shit I've ever heard. Like, oh, we can't do UBI because it would make people lazy. And, like the Romans realized a long time ago that if people had money, they would spend that shit. So you know what they did? Because of Egypt, when after Augustus took over Egypt, they started a thing called the dole, which is like basically like ancient Roman food stamps. It basically handed them out what was it called? They gave them like actually it's more like ancient Roman food bank. Doing that on purpose. So the idea that behind this was that you give out food. Everyone can get grain from Egypt to make bread. They don't have to spend money on, the poorest people don't have to worry about their next meal. So what they can do, they can spend on other things. Let's say, which actually is good for the diet. Let's say if you got your cereal, basically your carbs taken care of, the Roman peasant could spend money on a meat source like pork, which means less malnutrition, which is really good when you're an agricultural or as good Romans militaristic society, because well-fed youth mean good, strong soldiers for the legions. So there's a legitimate military advantage to making sure it gets fed. It also means that the Romans, they controlled the Mediterranean, needed that trade, sweet gold. Sweet gold from Ethiopia and India. So they were like, we can if everyone's fed, that means they can go spend their money on trade goods. That's basically what UBI is like. That's what Yang was talking about. Like, and that's why I by the way, warning, we're getting political. So if you don't like what I have to say, that's fine. Just heads up. Like, this is my opinions, and you're welcome to your opinions. Like, all I care about is but when it comes to facts, I don't like. I'm gonna say how it is, but yeah, this concept of a UBI is like, or the social welfare programs, goes back to antiquity, because they were vanishing. The Inca were also like that, but actually they were freaking like, you thought the Chinese were centralized, like, oh my god, Imperial China with all the bureaucrats. Like, no, dude, Inca, like, and the crazy thing, they didn't even have writing. Like, imagine what kind of force would have they been if like the Inca had a full written system. Like, you couldn't have stopped. But yeah, like, social programs and like public education, that's states have known this for ages. Everybody, like the Spartans, they had a state-run education. They had publicly funded education. It was a military education, but that meant every Spartan kid was like, every soldier, every housewife knew how to read. They knew how to fight, because Spartans knew, like, you gotta. They had kind of that militia idea, like, you gotta make sure the home front is also protected along with your expeditionary army. So like, and that's my thing against about the current system, is like, they're not investing in the country as a whole. Like I actually kind of feel sad that we're not investing better in the. Like, I'm glad we're doing infrastructure, but there's so much that both sides should agree on, because these would benefit. Like, if they, like, for instance, I think like people like Bezos and whatnot, and I think billionaires need to pay their taxes, because that's the benefit of the government. It helps us pay down the deficit. Use the word profits, not the debt, because debt is is basically your budget. It's basically what it's. I think someone, yeah, that's the best way to put it was, it's basically the whole budget. It's the collective amount of, like, both budget and deficits. Basically, money you have, when you're taking in money that you're spending. Or the deficit is like, you're overspending, you're over budgeted. So I think, I'd be willing to go into debt. Like, the thing that the like, people tend to think it's like a house budget, or like a business budget, but the country is like a house. You know how there are times you're willing to go into debt for good reasons. For instance, like fixing a hole in the roof because it prevents another thing possibly, right? And that's how I think we need to take about the United States or government in general. You need to think about long term. The problem isn't being too short term. Again, this comes from the whole 1980s kind of Reaganomics thing. Is the culture, both corporate and government, became very short term instead of very long term. Well, everyone's always thinking short term, but there was a lot more of a long term legacy thing pushed. Oh man, I need to find that sky shard. Oh wait, no, I think I got this one. Oh yeah, one on top of the. Yeah, no, I got it. Sweet. I think that's how I complete the dungeon. If not, I gotta have to go through. I clearly need to kill something. What's. I think that's the biggest problem. Okay, I agree. I'm a firm believer in one of the earthquakes that said we need to think about law-making in certain aspects of the infrastructure, like the way the country is for the next 7 generations, or at least for the next, say, 100 years, 50 years minimum. Let's say the next 3 generations. Why? Because so how will this affect the current? How? I'd say you need to look at it from all 3 points. So since we have the boomers who are in their who are between 8. Actually, no. Before that, we still have the silent generation, World War II, but there are not many left. The older boomers who were 80, like my grandfather was older than me, he just passed. Good man, but but yeah, good. And by the way, you got the Xers, Moth, and then you got the Millennials, the Zoomers, and you have Z, and then you have Alpha, which I don't know what they're gonna call I forget what they're calling, but Alpha are all the kids, little kids right now. They're the elementary school. Zoomers are high school to middle college, and then you have people like me who are workforce age. We are either some of us are still in college because we were being smart about because the economic. I had to stay in college for longer than I should have because of the fucking 2008. I didn't have the money to do what I needed to do. The job market was just. That's enough of that. Oh, at least I still have a job. But no, like I think, as I said, the current laws, our current setup, that tends to benefit things like corporations. I mean, hey, some of the stuff is just like, you're what? Oh yeah, I gotta go down. Right, map. Found you. Yeah, I hope because I want to hate if I have to go back through here and find the boss. Gold. The thing I don't get, like you're, yeah. As frustrated I am with the system, I do think things can get better. I'm honestly a believer that we can make things better, and there are ways to do it too. Like, and a lot of them aren't. Like, one of the things I've come to learn is that, like, I don't like what happened at the Capitol, but the idea of a large amount of people showing up, or at least the idea of a large force being able to see our Congress, that's an important lesson. And I'm not, again, not supporting it. In fact, I think what they did was absolutely atrocious, because they were attacking you know, the American, you're supposed to peacefully protest. That's the actual concept. But ironically, these are the same people who say, you don't like it, you can leave. I'm like, that is the most un-American thing I've ever heard. America was founded by people who legitimately argue with each other all the time. The founding fathers, some of them hit each other. Like Adams and Jefferson were friends. Then during Jefferson's presidency, he pissed him off. He was like, dude, you're dead to me. Then eventually, I think, like in like the 50s, they caught up again. Or like, I think when Monroe became president. So after they all got out of office, and like Jefferson eventually was like, and Adams were like, you know what, dude, that was stupid. You know, basically they're like, they were mature enough to come back and say, dude, we were complete idiots. Which is kind of hilarious. I gotta respect that about those two. Like, I mean, to be fair, and it's funny, people always forget that, like, Aaron Burr shot Alexander Hamilton because they disagreed, but Hamilton was smart enough to put good propaganda out to hear Aaron Burr and prevent him from running for president. I'm like, dude, brutal. So yeah, like, if you don't like it, any of you don't like it, leave. It's very anti-American. Americans will do some crazy shit. Where am I? I just wanted to explore a little bit more. I'm gonna go. If I'm wrong and I have to go back through, that won't be too bad. But, you know, like, so what I was back to the point of thing is that the idea of a large force doesn't have to be physical. It can actually be, what do they call it? It can be in terms of voices. It can be basically, you know how we have polling and stuff like that. What I think we need to get these health organizers that what people are saying, like the kind of like, hey, we want, you know, better healthcare, we want a better infrastructure, we want, you know, an end to the. I personally think the end of the prohibition on drugs, because I think that drug use has more and more. I study stuff like, you know, get more and more stuff on mental health and the way neurology works. It's a chemical thing, and I think that that's something that a a physician should be dealing with. You know, someone, an addiction counselor, and then therapists for possibly whatever is wrong. Some of the stuff that leads to trauma, like abuse. It's pretty common for abuse victims of certain kinds of develop, like alcoholism, or especially if they're like abused by alcoholics. It's a really messed up kind of way that the brain works, that will emulate stuff that's even we know intellectually hurt us. We know, but it's, what else do you do? And that's the sad part. So I think that's the big thing. I think that drugs should be treated that way. You need to find out, because if we can figure out what's wrong, and that's my thing about like helping out homeless and helping you. If there's something wrong and with mental health, and we can either prevent it, or even catch it and treat it, we can. If we prevent it, that means we can ensure that person never follows down the path, which means that's less resources needed to help treat. I believe in prevention. Good. So I would, but I also think that's why we go into the whole we need to get better programs for people. It's also, you know, it's important because if people are mentally healthy, they're more productive. That's also why I'm like for you know, a better, benefits, like, I support any, like, unionization, all, the stuff to ensure people get, they're able to get the high quality of life they need, because I think with Truman mentioned that that America's greatest resources is people.
Things seem to have stopped shaking, so I'm making then my odd. I should get back. Fine, yes.
Oh, sweet. Oh, I didn't complete it. I need to go back through. I need to kill someone. I honestly think that, ooh, I've got mail. God, I just so dated myself by saying that. When you realize that AOL is over 20 years old and you had one as a kid. Oh. Nah, like, but seriously, like, I think we need to be focusing, like drugs, I think that's a medical thing. I think selling them, here's an idea. If you could, people are going to use this stuff anyway. I would say tax and regulate it. And then we put that money, if someone wants to use cocaine, or someone wants to I'm more for shrooms, or we call it psilocybin, because it's they've found it can be help out with PTSD, and I think recreational use, people say they felt better. It could be a good mental health thing. Like if someone, here's my thing, if you want to escape using shrooms, as long as you are productive and everything is running fine, why would anybody be against someone using something to relax, especially if they're like, there's a stereotype about the stoner, and well, I do smoke weed and I can sometimes. I have a job. I know that's anecdotal, but there are plenty of others. You got the over. This is the favorite. Yes, I can listen to all the celebrities, but who smoke, who are partake. But in general, like I think if someone wants to do a drug, so long as they are not being dangerous to themselves or others through either action or inaction. So either by causing it, or like neglect. So by not doing something, you're causing harm. Like like you can cause abuse through neglect. That's like people forget that neglect is technically considered a form of abuse, because for children and like those who are require like elderly or people with diminished capacity or mobility need that help, and that's so if someone's like, hey, I'm gonna snort some coke and go to a party because it's my weekend off and I got nothing to do, and they're responsible and they don't sure, whatever, like, or you want to do shrooms, like, just as long as you're not being a dick, and I'd want that to be regulated. I'm like, seriously, if you want to get high, so long as no one's getting hurt, and you're as long as you're functioning normally, I think that would be perfectly fine. And plus, then we can tax it and we could use that money to fix, fund it, like basically also programs for getting off that stuff. Basically, use part of the money for that, I'd say we should throw that money also towards research on these stuff, so we have a better understanding on how to do it and to improve the treatment. making it cheaper. See, by funding it back into itself, you can actually make it. You could the research will pay dividends. That's the problem people forget. Sometimes you do need to hit up the enemy. That blocked. I attack. Damage back. I think that might be from one of my at least I'm warm. Alright, so guys, in about 10 minutes I'm going to be signing off, just so you know. I got an appointment after that. So, again, sorry this is like short. I'm trying to go for at least an hour play it in general, but I think you guys will be fine with 40 minutes. And if you don't like my political rantings, well, listen, my ideas are not for everyone. You're entitled to your opinion, but I want to apologize for my opinions because unless they're based on bad facts, then I'm willing to say okay. I'm willing to admit when I have a flawed analysis, even if it's sometimes begrudgingly. But no, I will not say. I mean, my opinion might change. I'm gonna say, if my opinion changes, I'll say, hey, something. But that's just the flawed. Realizing that you're making an assessment on an incomplete truth. One of the more interesting things to talk about, that's actually something they actually want to know is how to get this completed. Because that's what humans are really good. We're running on basic data, but our opinions are based. We never have the full facts. Like, life is not like an experiment where you can basically. It's complicated, so we're always running. That's why we have all these. And even when you have a clear sense of data, other people will not react the same way because they don't have the full sense. Or they may not even have the same perspective because of. I think, or no, that's not complete. It's fuzzy data. No, wait, no, that's fuzzy logic. That's for movement. I think they said like that's the key to creative is be able to make guesses based on make hypothesis based on incomplete data, which is I mean that's how people that's basically that's how I learn about life. Incomplete data. But still, I'm still very much like I think. Oh, it's that. You know what I also think should be funding? Space. Why? You wanna know why? 'Cause it's fucking cool. Okay, aside from it being fucking cool. Okay, why do you want to fund space? Because it's cool. I want to go fly. I want to be an astronaut. Oh, okay, I did want to be an astronaut as a kid. Like, I'm gonna go play basketball on the moon. Because But to be honest, actually, think about that. Like, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2, the one where MJ is dating J. Jonah Jameson's. Was it J? It was JJ. JJJJ. Or was it J? I'll go with J3 the second, or God damn, his name is so hard to say. J. Jonah Jameson. But basically Peter Parker, basically Alex, aka I can't remember his name, heads in from a. Why am I blanking on the actor's name? I should know. He plays I don't remember the actor's name, but. So anyway, like it's funny, like they mentioned like his son played the first to play football on the moon. I'm like, wait a minute, this is like the early 2000s. Does Spider-Man in this timeline exist in a world where the space race kept going? Is this the for all mankind timeline? Like, did we get internet? Do we get the internet and we don't have email? We have Gmail. And they're fighting, and the Soviet Union hasn't fallen yet, dude. That was kind of crazy. But it was kind of a funny thought. I saw that. I'm like, what if that's what's really going on? Like, it's in an alternate timeline. That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it be? I mean, but this would also mean it would exist in the world of the Necronomicon because it's Sam Raimi, and my headcanon says that Evil Dead in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man universe exists in the same universe, which means based on the new Marvel rules, we're gonna get. It means Evil Dead. Dude, Evil Dead's now Marvel. By that rule. Because now the View Askew universe and Jay and Silent. Actually, that one's a weird one. Both Jay and Silent Bob and the View Askew universe exist within each other. It's they're no weird. It's like that episode of Futurama where they have the two versions to the box, the movie universe, and yeah, that the Prime universe, that. This timeline's universe and that their timeline's universe exists basically within each other's boxes. And it's basically what it is because in Captain Marvel, there's that script with, what's his name? With Stan Lee, and it's got mall rats. But because of that, so Stan Lee exists in Marvel as Stan Lee the. It really gets confusing. Like certain things I accept in the Marvel, like the fact that people are like, well, Nick Fury would look like Samuel Jackson. I can accept the fact that Samuel Jackson and Nick Fury exist in the same universe. Why? Simple. There are a lot of people who look alike. For instance, here's what I'm always pointing out: Nick Cannon and no, Nick. Fuck, where am I putting up? No, Javier Bardem and Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I look a lot alike. So, like the idea of like there being, Nick Fury looking like Samuel Jackson. I think that'd be actually kind of a funny nod to say, hey, you look like that. Like, it'd be funny if there's like, oh my God, Samuel Jackson. You turn around, no, it's not him. The only thing that would be different in this world is that Jackson wouldn't be working on Marvel. None of the actors would be working on a Marvel movie. Or hell, even here'd be a cool one. What if they're actually doing they're doing like they're basically doing live action. They're doing their rendition of what goes on, but it's done later on. So what if the MCU exists in this, but it's basically it's like historical document, like in a Galaxy Quest, how they thought it was historical. However, it's legit historical document. But so Clerks, so Stanley was doing a script for Clerks, but also they reference the Marvel Cinematic Universe in the most recent Jay and Silent Bob. So which means it goes to the Futurama thing. They're interlinked. Like Futurama, they basically they got the Futurama box principle. Like when two universes, separate franchise universes exist within each other. They've had, because I've seen several times where fiction will reference other fiction, like like this book series and reading the Expeditionary Force reference the Martian or stuff like that. Like I've definitely heard of shows referencing other shows. Like I think Stargate referenced the fact that that MacGyver exists. So MacGyver's are real. Like in SG-1, like MacGyver is real. Even though Richard Dean Anderson also plays him. Although I didn't joke like, hey, you look like that guy. Yeah, I get that a lot. Like I think that would be a more fun way to do it for Marvel if they did like that's my rule for for any of the characters and the real actors in that universe. So yeah, that's my headcanon. That everyone does exist in that universe. It's just that. Or it would be interesting. What if Stan Lee in this universe is a prophet? MCU basically doing the comic books, or you saw versions of this time. Like that would make sense. I think canonically, this is kind of a weird prophet, but it's not ever quite right. He's kind of seen shit that will happen. Kind of like Supernatural. That was kind of a weird thing with Chuck, but that's how you could do it. Yeah, with Stan Lee is. Although that would be really no. This would become more like a Stephen King thing, where Stephen King wrote himself into the Dark Tower. That was kind of odd because they legitimately put a piece of Stephen King's own life in the book. I actually think I need to quit right now because I have my appointment in 10 minutes, so I will be going. By the way, just a heads up, this is going to look different soon because I am building an overlay, so it will look amazing. So we will have a much nicer looking live stream next week. So ladies and gentlemen, great seeing you again, and I will talk to you guys later. Also, remember what I told you about Random Media Guys? Check out that, please. I'm sorry right now to do the Midwest goodbye, but yes, check out that, and I will see you guys again next week, or maybe sooner. Peace.